Guess who's back? Back again.
Okay then. Well, it's John and
Of course
Kitty's...
you haven't got rid of us. Of course you haven't. So
Well, we are back. It's John and Kitty's back, and as you can see, Kitty's on camera today. So we're hoping to get her on a bit more.
I'm very awkward.
She is.
Very awkward.
She is, but you know, as you can see, there's been a few changes, especially up here. But you know, it's just one of the things. So we're going to explain.
You want to highlight your head?
Well, he's an egg. What can I say?
He's not an egg.
He's not far off.
Oh,
anyway,
you're just so mean to yourself.
Anyway, we're going to explain a bit about what's happened to us, why we took a break, and we're going to go through what we're going to be potentially doing in the future. So if you want to sit back and enjoy yourself, grab yourself a cup of tea.
Very much looking forward to them cold days, because it's been quite warm recently.
Definitely, we'll be glad when the weather cools down a bit. Just a bit of rain would be nice.
Yeah, I think for British people it's just so difficult to accept warm weather, and so we all complain. So it's just what happens.
The lack of aircon and the insulated house is what does it, because what a lot of people don't realise is it might be 30 degrees outside, but it could quite easily be 40 plus inside, because the homes in the UK and a lot of Europe, to be fair, are designed the same. We don't have aircon to cool it down, and then the walls are insulated for the winter, so any heat that we do get in is trapped. So then when you've got heat outside and the sun hitting the window, it just brings in so much more heat.
So it just becomes an oven. So
yeah.
So you might be wondering why we're back on YouTube and
why we stopped.
Yeah, and why we stopped and stuff. There were a lot of different things going off in our lives. We obviously have some family related things that we have to deal with outside the business and things. I've also got some health issues that I have to navigate myself around.
Myself as well.
Yeah. We also lost technically 3 guinea pigs at the time, and that last one just really blew us at that time frame. But we have technically lost, sadly, 4 guinea pigs now within the space of a year, and it is not for the faint-hearted.
No.
It's really, really difficult.
Losing
one, let alone losing several, and it's an absolute gut punch.
And it just felt like one after the other.
Yeah, and it's even more tricky as well when you have to navigate that situation as well, when you're having to constantly be checking in on them. Are they drinking? Are they eating? Are they doing what they should be doing? And when you are literally on fight all the time, making sure that they are getting everything that they need, the medications and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden you just find them in the cage just so quickly, just on the side. And that's kind of what happened with Halloumi. That broke me in lots of different ways, because mentally I'd been having a discussion with John not long before, and he always hits me, but I just kept saying to John, is it time that we kind of let her go, because she was suffering in lots of different ways and we just didn't realise originally, but then as time moved on we started to notice these little things.
The spine issue was a clear one. You could see like a curve in a spine, so instead of having like the normal guinea pig arch, it kind of went into like an M shape, and it became more and more prominent as she got older, and that was one of the first things that we noticed. But she seemed okay in herself with that and been able to move around a lot, but as she got towards the end, especially after she had the pneumonia, she seemed a bit more laboured, a bit more not quite herself.
We were having to make sure that she was getting syringe fed, watered, making sure that she had separate food from other people, so that like she had a fair chance of eating.
Because she struggled to like fight her way in between.
She was having multiple different medications to help her deal with the pain management and stuff of things, and it just felt like one big battle all the time, just checking in. Is she okay? Is she okay? And I love her to death. Like, I don't mind doing it at all. Like, me and John,
we
would do everything.
Adore the guinea pigs.
What it is there's a point, and this is what most people's got to realise, and a lot of people have got like what I call a very kind heart, and they'll just keep going, and I don't think it's always fair on the animal.
I don't think that's for every animal, because at the end of the day, I don't think it's just about life itself. I think it's about quality of life. You've got to look at, like, if the animal is suffering, and if the animal is actually being able to do the things that it enjoys because it's suffering, and if you get to that point where it can't be doing that thing and it's literally just existing, and its existence is pain and no quality of life, not being able to do things that it enjoys, it's time to, like, you need to let it go, in my opinion.
And that was kind of where we were going with the situation, because Halloumi had managed to survive the pneumonia, and I was so grateful of that, because I thought, you know, I get her a bit longer. But at the same time, I was also toying with all the stress of not knowing, am I doing the right thing? And constantly thinking about that, thinking, would it be kinder in some respect that she's able to go on her own accord and not be pushed in a horrible way that, like, maybe she might end up having, for example, fits or anything like that, because I wanted her to have a nice end. I didn't want her to suffer in any capacity. And one day your mum had actually come over to visit. Yeah, my mum had
come over. She gave him a bit of a feast. She'd had some of her favourite fresh veggies out of my mum's garden, lettuce, and a load of other stuff, and then she got a full belly, and then she just laid on her side and went.
That was the weird thing, was that there was no indication that was going to be her day in any capacity.
No, like, she was actually doing quite well. She was being quite bright-eyed. She was quite excited, and then just gone.
Yeah.
I think that's why it hit us so hard.
And she just was on her side, and that was it. It was just gone.
It was teacup, that found her. And she just went up to her and she was, like, poking her with her nose and that, trying to get her to move, but she was just gone.
It was just heartbreaking seeing the younger ones looking at her going, like, come on mum.
Come on, yeah.
Because that's how they looked at her. They looked at her as like a mother figure.
Yeah.
And
definitely
it was just heartbreaking, because obviously you don't want to lose an animal and things like that, but I didn't feel like I got to really say goodbye, because it was so quick. It weren't like it was a slow progression and then she passed or anything. So I didn't necessarily know it was happening, but I did treat every day like as if it was going to be her last in some respect. But I just believed in some ways that, like, we were going to have to be the ones to take her somewhere,
but she just,
to help her.
In the end, she did just go. We did think she was a bit young to go, because she was just over 2 years old. Didn't really make an awful lot of sense to us apart from the spine issue. Something we have found out since she's passed is that as we looked more and more into it, we believed that she was a satin teddy, because of the way that her fur was and the way that her weak bones were, and she was quite accident prone.
Yeah, because this is the thing, when we first got her, we knew that she was potentially going to be snake food.
Yeah.
But we didn't consider, like, she could have health issues or anything like that. We just took her. We didn't think of it. You just take any animal that needs a home.
Yeah.
And within about a day of having her, we noticed that there was something really odd about her, because she couldn't seem to move her back legs. They were like stiff, like you would a toy. Like if you got a toy from McDonald's, it's like solid.
Like you pulled a muscle and you hurt your leg and you were very, very stiff at walking.
Yeah, and she just doesn't seem to, like, be able to move them. And she went jumping, and she kind of fell to one side and hurt her leg. So we had to take her within about 48 hours to a vet, just to make sure that she not broke her leg. And they were like, oh, she's just, like, sprained it a little bit, she'll be okay.
She'll be hurt. It just need to keep an eye on her. So they gave us some pain meds and just sent us on his way.
Yeah, but because she was so tiny, we didn't know whether it could cause a lot more damage than what it did.
Yeah.
But we noticed over time she started doing, like, odd behaviours, like she'd start putting her head on the bowl when she were eating. Well, we just thought it were a funny quirk, because we've had guinea pigs with funny quirks like that, but in a different way. And I just presumed it was that. I didn't consider a medical related issue that she might have been suffering with.
But apparently what we've read is that can be a sign of satin syndrome, where they are trying to take the weight off their neck and the back, so that they rest at the chin on things. And for her favourite place to rest it was the nugget bowl, because it gave her that extra support. So when she was chewing a nugget and she was resting like that, it just made her look a bit possessed, and we just thought it was funny. But now that we look back at it, we're beginning to understand more about what was actually causing the problem with that.
I think the thing with guinea pigs is that, we've been owning them for, like, over like about 10 years.
At least 10 years,
well,
yeah.
Slightly over maybe. And you learn something new all the time because there's always something that you're not fully aware of or you understand. But the best way to describe or learn from it, spend time with your guinea pig, get to really know them, and you'll notice certain characteristics.
You'll notice little subtle things. They do like to hide their illness, which most prey animals would do, but the more you know them, the more you'll be able to tell when something's wrong with them.
Just one of them things that you learn over time. Like, you think that you know everything at the beginning. You might think, oh, I've done all the research, I've looked into this and that, and then you find out later that no, actually I didn't really understand that. And what it is you live and learn, don't you?
Yeah.
The more you do things, the more you realise and understand the importance. It's like most people will always buy them small cages thinking that, like, oh, these will be okay, and then over time they realise, like, oh, my guinea pigs are fighting, or my guinea pig just seems to be really unhappy for some reason and I can't put my finger on it. And it's just as simple as changing the cage to something bigger.
Yeah.
And it could potentially fix the problem. There's so much misinformation as well. I was having a conversation with somebody other day and she was saying about what do you feed your guinea pig? Is this suitable? Is that suitable? Because I've been told that many times this isn't suitable or that isn't suitable. And so, like I said, it's a difficult one because
there's no definitive list. There are safe foods and then the stuff that people say, oh, they shouldn't be eating too much of that, but nobody really agrees. Like, we've had people telling us that guinea pigs shouldn't be eating cucumbers because they'll choke on the seeds. Ours get cucumber every day because they go absolutely nuts if they don't. This
misinformation when it comes to seeds, and they think that the animal's going to choke. Maybe they've had a bad experience. Maybe they've heard somebody on, like, I don't know, a rescue that said, oh, you can't be giving them seeds.
It's like one thing that we get told is that, like, you should de-seed your things like watermelon and like tomatoes, but we've never done that. Our guinea pigs eat them and they're absolutely fine. In fact, my mum uses their poo in compost, and sometimes she even finds little tomato plants growing in the compost from their poo.
Really blew us, Halloumi, but we didn't realise how much it had actually hit us because there were so many other things going off in the background.
Yeah, we'd lost Earl and Tea Cake earlier that year, and
we were still grieving that. Then we had some situations where we were looking for other guinea pigs to replace because we like guinea pigs, as you know. That's why we do the entire business.
When you lose one, you kind of have like a hole to fill. It's like we got Twiggy as a way to replace Earl because, like, we just had that extra space, and then we ended up with 2 guinea pigs to replace Tea Cake, which was Teacup and Ginger Cake, but it was like because we were speaking to 2 different people and one of them stopped contacting us, so we didn't think she was interested, and then she told us that we could pick it up just after we picked up Teacup, so we ended up with 2.
But the thing is, if we'd have not gone and got the guinea pigs that we did at the time, Pudding potentially right now would have actually been completely on her own.
Yes, because
I couldn't have had that.
She's the only one left out of that original herd that we had when we first started the YouTube channel. But it's like a big thing.
We Halloumi passing, we were just heartbroken. We were all over the place with different things, grieving, and also you also go through this phase as well of just constantly looking at the cage, expecting, oh, I need to make sure she's drinking, and then when she's not there, you're like, oh.
It's like when you're preparing vegetables for them, you prepare enough for the ones that have recently passed, and it's like, oh, I've got too many here. I
don't know, you guys, whether or not you've had this experience, but feel free to put it in the comments as well if you've ever felt like after the moment of losing a guinea pig that you're constantly looking for them and you're doing that extra bit of food.
You're treating the cage like they're still there.
Yeah, because it's always interesting to know how other people feel and stuff when they've lost an animal. Feel free as well to write anything that could be helpful as well, because we might be able to do a video later on grief, because I think that'd be a really good
subject, things that can help you cope with grief.
It's a long process with lots of different people,
and it's different for everyone.
Yeah, and it's different for everyone, because some people might judge me and John for getting a guinea pig straight away, but it's my way of coping, because how I see it is there's loads of guinea pigs out there. I think RSPCA has actually said about a 70%
uptake in guinea pigs this year. So there's a lot of places having to rescue more guinea pigs than what they would normally.
So there's so many that need a home, and why can't instead of me getting upset and crying and getting, going through the motions,
invite another
one in that needs it. I feel it's a better way of doing it, and also it gives the guinea pigs something to look forward to, because they might be feeling down as well, like we are.
Yeah.
You just don't know, and I just think it's a good
A
idea.
new friend can be like a distraction for them, and it can perk them up. I do have to say that not every bonding is going to work out. We've actually had one of those ourselves.
Yeah, and this is another thing that added to the list of things. Me and John was editing the videos before, and we were trying to do one a week. There were times when we couldn't do one a week because we were busy,
Health
like with all sorts of different things, and I got overwhelmed. And then to know that Halloumi had died, and I had to potentially do an announcement saying about that Halloumi had died at a time when it was very raw for me, I just couldn't face it. I just couldn't face doing the talk and things, because I genuinely cared about her so deep, so much. I think about her all the time, even now. And I just feel that some of these YouTubers that I see, I don't know how they do it, because I really care. Like, I really care so much. I need a break. I just needed a break. So I thought, I'm going to just have a break, and we can rethink the channel. Because I feel like it needed a new direction anyway, didn't it, John?
Yeah, we needed to rethink of what we are doing with the channel.
Yeah, so we thought we'll just give it a bit of time and work through it. And so we got another guinea pig, and it was like a dream guinea pig, really.
Californian. It's something that I'd always wanted ever since I started having guinea pigs. I just like the way that the Calis and the Himalayans look.
But it just didn't go in the way that we planned it, because there was some issues. So.
We got her, she settled in fine, and she seemed to bond with all the guinea pigs. Her and Twiggy seemed to have the closest bond out of them all. About 4 or 5 months in, she started to become aggressive towards ginger cake, and I mean really aggressive. Now all the other guinea pigs would literally start circling ginger cake to protect her, and it got to the point where we ended up having to separate them because she was that bad. No matter what we tried, she wouldn't go back. So when we decided to start spaying the new additions, we took Twiggy first, and we decided to take Banoffee in with Twiggy because we heard that could potentially lower her hormones, because we figured that might have been what it was causing it. But even after the space, she was still super aggressive towards ginger cake, and there was no sign that it's slowing down. And it got to the point where even through the bars, ginger cake and her was having a go at each other, so we just had to basically rehome her.
That was a very difficult situation because we tried all sorts of things. We thought, we'll try and spay her, see if that fixes it, because it can calm the hormones down a bit, but in fact it just made things worse. But one of the things that we got told is hold out, because it could be that her hormones need to settle after the operation, because that can actually happen. They can have spikes.
Yeah.
But we were holding out and holding out,
but she was just getting worse and worse.
In fact, she was just getting worse. It's like she just got a new sense of anger towards her. We couldn't even when we had to separate, she was trying to climb the walls
bars,
and stuff.
especially when
I've got to
ginger
think
cake
of her
went near
safety, both
to that
safeties.
side. And then when we put her back in the cage with them to try to see if they bond, all the other guinea pigs would avoid her. That was the main thing. It's just simply like the herd did not want her in there anymore.
Banoffee just didn't gel. She just didn't gel. And I honestly believe that some girls are just designed to be with a pair, and that's it. Some people, when they've bred the guinea pigs, some socialise them and some just leave them. And so because of that, you sometimes get a female that's not very social, doesn't understand the social skills, so then they have arguments. That's what I think.
So we ended up taking her to a rescue, and the rescue said that they were going to bond her. They found a lone girl that was looking for a friend, a submissive girl, and they got on like an house on fire, became inseparable. So it was like, I think she was wanting a situation where she just wanted one best friend that she could boss around.
Yeah.
Then they got adopted by a lovely family that had guinea pigs before, so.
Yeah, and that was a very difficult time for us, because it's not easy rehoming a guinea pig, especially when you're very committed to that guinea pig. You want the best for the guinea pig and everything like that.
When you have that situation, it makes you feel like a failure.
Yeah, it does make you feel like a failure, but I also think there needs to be more acceptance of this kind of thing.
Okay, because you've got to rehome a guinea pig that doesn't fit. Because
you've got to think of their life. If they are unhappy because they're next door to somebody that they really don't like, I think sometimes it's better just to give them a new sense of life, like with somebody else.
Give them a chance to move on.
And there's other ways to be able to help the rescue. Don't just hand in a pet because, you know, do it in a way that when you give it them, you say, if you need money for hay, biscuits,
any vet bills,
hand them a donation. If you are going to rehome your pet with a rescue, please hand over a donation, because that will cover your guinea pigs, any additional costs that may come about. You might think your guinea pig's healthy, and I understand that, but there is things that you might not be aware of, because they may need spaying, they may need a neuter, they may need a health check. All these things cost money. Me and John gave a donation to this rescue, and we said, any problems, let us know. Anything that you might need to cover for her being there. And she went really quick.
She did. They literally, they had she was gone in space of 2 weeks.
And I think it's because they valued what we did. We gave them resources. We didn't just leave them with a debt, because that's what you're technically doing when you do give them to a rescue. You're kind of leaving them with a debt. I understand it if you don't financially have the means to do it. Not everyone does.
Just offer
do you know what I mean?
Can.
But if you have the opportunity,
especially if you've got like hay and pellets that they've been on, at least give them a bag of them. But
I mean, I can go into depth as well about this situation if it helps. To just know that, like, you're not alone. If you've had to rehome an animal, it's okay, because it's very, very difficult to go through that of feeling like a failure. And if you ever need to talk to someone, there's always someone here. If you need to talk about like a situation where it's not working out, I'm not going to judge you.
No, we'll be
because
understanding.
I think it's more important to just be kind. We don't need to be...
To understand everybody's situation.
Because not everyone understands what's going off behind the scenes.
I do understand it. There's a lot of people that will say, oh, you should keep them and just keep them in a separate cage, but not everyone's got the space for that. We live in a tiny property. Most people in the UK do. You might have the space for like one cage, or if you're lucky you might have space for 2 cages. Like, not everyone does. Some people have got the space for 1 cage, and I understand when some people do get smaller cages because of the space requirement, but you should be looking at a minimum size cage, and I would always suggest a C&C cage.
I mean, we were just thinking of her well-being more than anything, because one, we'd have to find a friend that is going to be compatible with her. I also thought that the friend might fall out in some capacity with the neighbours. It would have been too much stress, and I just think somebody could have given her all the love that she really deserved.
And attention that she deserved.
And I just think to myself, sometimes you just got to put your hands up and you've got to say, I've done all I can and it's okay. I've not left that rescue in any kind of financial debt. I've offered, I've also given money, and I also do things for rescue. I don't really talk about them that much, but I do a lot of different things. I do stuff for America, and I also do stuff for the UK. I do donate items to help them with raffles, or even just so that their guinea pig isn't in a situation where they've not got as good of fleece items, let's say, because they need to change them out more often. They need something really exorbitant. I'm willing to give odd bits away at, like, if it benefits the animal.
Yeah, we even do it in specific colours for them, because they wanted a specific colour, a beige colour, because it was nice and pale, so they could see if there was any like blood or anything like that from like post-surgery, things like that. So we did provide exactly what we could for them.
It was just a very difficult situation, that.
On the upside, we did find out that they did adopt her out. It was about 2 weeks after we dropped her off. They did the initial health check, and then they found a guinea pig that'd be a perfect friend for her. They bonded them, and then as soon as they put them out and up for adoption and advertised them as a pair, someone came in literally the day that they put them on. So they were clearly a desirable couple. The families took them. And they're off living hopefully the best life now. Because
you always feel a bit like, have I done the right thing, even when, you know, this situation happens, and then after you're like, no, I actually did do the right thing with that. And now I've also been able to home Olive.
Yes.
Which is our ex-breeding sow, which needed a home because her daughter had died and she was on her own. So in some ways, I've given a home to a guinea pig that needed a home, but I've also brought in one that actually really gets on with the herd life, loves herd life, and I think that's important.
She absolutely adores Ginger Cake as well. She treats Ginger Cake like her own daughter. Ginger Cake was still suffering from post-Banoffee syndrome, where she just didn't like anybody. hardy. Olive never gave up. She just kept going up to her and cuddling her and just laying next to her. And eventually Ginger Cake went, oh, you're all right, you.
She's 3 years old.
And yeah, the lady that we got her offered had a stroke, so she was trying to slim down the number of guinea pigs that she wanted because obviously she couldn't cope with the number of them. And with there being 3, she just wanted someone where she could have a nice retirement home for her.
We were just looking for another guinea pig to obviously replace Banoffee because of the situation. She's a better fit. She just generally is.
She'd only ever lived as a pair before with her daughter, but sadly her daughter passed away and it left her on her own. So that's one of the reasons why she let her go to us. They've just accepted and they've got almost a mother-daughter bond.
And it were a big thing for Ginger Cake to accept somebody else in because that's who was the one that getting attacked.
Not the one that was the main focus of all Banoffee.
And this is another thing that a lot of people don't think about is that if you keep trying to rebond an animal that doesn't want to be bonded, it could cause some mental...
You can give lasting mental trauma that might prevent it from being able to bond at all. I think once you've tried, if you can see that there's severe aggression there, I think you need to like move on. Because
this is the thing, a lot of people are like try again, but it doesn't always work. It just doesn't. It's one of them, you just know your own guinea pig.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work out,
don't wait until one of them draws blood, because that's just asking for a vet bill. If you see the aggression and it's more than just simple rumble, strutting and humping, then straight away separate them. Don't wait for them to attack each other and cause blood, because that can leave lasting wounds, it can leave lasting mental effects. Just nip it in bud before it becomes a problem.
We had a Christmas launch as we do guinea pig fleece items.
And we launched the entire range, way too big to be fair, because you kept getting different materials. And she was making more than what she could actually cope with, but she wanted to make sure that we had a good Christmas launch because people would get asking us for more and more products. And we did quite a large Christmas launch with quite a big variety in fabrics.
I think we did about 6 or 7 different Christmas patterns. And it's because last year we got a lot of requests for that, and we just didn't have enough time to do it.
No, because we did the Halloween but not the Christmas, whereas last year we just focused on more on Christmas.
And so because we were doing so much Christmas related content, selling the products and things, we just didn't have time to film. And we want to try and make time, because I think it's kind of important to have a different outlook as well in the guinea pig community, because there's a lot of very matter of fact things come about. I'm quite open-minded in that, like, I'm willing to listen to a variety of people's feelings on stuff, because not every situation fits all, does it?
No, nothing is ever a one-size-fits-all. Some people have different opinions on how to do things, and sometimes you can learn something from that.
There were quite a few people that said it would never happen, or it won't work out, or what have you, with Earl Grey and Mr. Whippy.
Having a successful herd with 2 males and 3 females at the height.
And we got told multiple times it's not going to work, it's not going to work. They're going to eventually fight each other and you're going to be in some serious trouble and all that. Now, bear in mind, I would never recommend 2 males with a herd of females. I would not recommend that at all. But we knew our guinea pigs. We very much knew our guinea pigs, because Earl is a different kind of character.
Earl was special. Saskia and LA Guinea Pig Rescue calls them Buddha boys, where they just accept anything, and Earl was just like that. You could put him in with any guinea pig and there was no real bonding behaviours, no real aggression towards any other guinea pig, and the guinea pigs were the same back to him. It was just like there was always friends. It was like the bond was there without even having to establish it. Every guinea pig loved him. It just didn't matter. And then with Mr. Whippy being like kind of like a gentle boy, scared one
that was desperate for any way to get in,
just desperate for any kind of friendship, because he'd been kept on his own in a greenhouse for so long. When he saw the opportunity, he just accepted it. So you had these 2 boys with these girls and it just worked beautifully. I'm not saying that that's the norm, because it's definitely not. We've seen many times when boys have fought. I mean, we've been lucky because we've never had any problems with boys. All our problems we've had have been with girls. We do know that on the larger scheme of things, boys typically have more issues with each other than what girls do.
And also, I feel like a lot of our boys were very submissive, and they were also very kind boy. I think we've really
been lucky.
Yeah, we've got the right ones for the right job, so to speak.
After Christmas as well, so we did the launch, and then in the new year, basically started exactly, this year started exactly like what it started last year, only instead of being Earl Grey that was very poorly, it was Mr. Whippy. And sadly, around the time that Earl Grey died, but a year later, Mr. Whippy died as well.
And that was also very devastating as well, because we were planning on coming back potentially to YouTube and doing more content driven stuff. When you have a blow like that as well, so it's like the whole thing about our YouTube was based on that group.
Yeah,
and it's like gone. it doesn't like exist, that group anymore. It's like a completely different group.
I'm so glad we did start YouTube when we did, because we've still got the videos that showcase that herd.
We've got all the memories, everything that goes along with it.
I don't ever think we'll ever heard like that again with the two boys.
Yeah, I'm very blessed with that.
It's a thing. But what happened with Mr. Whippy is he just started going down it. He always had the problem with his back legs, because like he got a muscle weakness in one of the legs. I think he must have had an injury before we got him, and one of his legs didn't feel as chunky as the other. He always had this weird limp. He could run about 3 or 4 steps and then he'd go into this weird waddle. But he started suffering more and struggling to get around more. We offered him painkillers and stuff like that, and he was still eating and chatting and enjoying his time with the girls. But then he just stopped eating and refused to take any food in, and all he was doing was drinking. Took him to the vets, and the vet said he might have some stomach issues. They gave him some medication, nothing changed. So rather than letting him go in a painful, possible starve to death manner, we let him go with dignity.
Yeah, he gives me vibes now of like how Pipsqueak from Scotty's. Yeah, because he
had the similar look, the way that his fur's looking now, that's how his fur went.
Yeah.
Looking very weak and very frail.
Yeah, it's just sad to see, you know, a guinea pig that you've worked so hard on, because he was incredibly feral.
He was the most feral guinea pig I've ever known, and you couldn't even move in the living room. If you made a slight movement, he would bolt as soon as we got him. For us to work with him, and for him to go from that to probably the most affectionate guinea pig we have ever had, where he would be the first at the cage to greet you in the morning, put your hand in, he would be the first to come up and start licking your hand. It was just such a reward in having him with us. Losing him was another massive blow. It just like ripped a hole in your heart.
That also had another knockback on stuff that we wanted to film, but then at the same time we were just like, I don't know if I could face looking at the video content again. I just think we needed a break, really, didn't we? We just needed a bit of a break, focus on other aspects of the business and stuff. Really difficult when you lose so many at once, and it almost brings back the grieving of the others as well, because you start thinking about them and wonder if Mr. Whippy's with them now, kind of thing, you know, like in heaven, if you believe in that, obviously. But like that's how I like to think
about it, that they're all waiting for us. The thing that hit me hardest sometimes was just the way that Pudding looked, because she would look and it's like she's lost every one of her friends that were here, and she just had this sad look on her face for quite a while. She's come out of it now and she's a lot better for it. After Mr. Whippy went, when we knew he was going, we started looking for a boy, and that's when we got his boy that we called Jaffa. We were going to originally call him Jaffa Cake, but it's more like Jaffa Orange. He's just a big Jaffa.
I like Jaffa Orange better, to be honest.
He is his own character in himself. We thought, because he was a self, thought he might be like Earl, but he's nothing like Earl. He's adventurous like Earl. He's also crazy. So
Yeah. And he's very gentle and very, like, he'll stand back and let the girls do whatever they need to do and have something to eat. Yeah.
I feel bad for him. We got him and he settled in, and even Mr. Whippy were coming up to him and like nosing him through the bars, so we kind of had this idea that he was already going to be a good part of the herd. While he was in recovery from spay, that's when Mr. Whippy passed. Because he was there, I think the girls were then started to sniff through the bars and look at him, so I think they managed to cope with their grief a lot better because we already had him there. We
decided to adopt a male so far in because we kind of knew where it was going with Mr. Whippy for quite a bit, because we were getting all the signs and stuff. I said to John, I think Mr. Whippy might be holding on in some respect because he's scared of like going and leaving the girls, because he's scared that like who's going to protect them. Having that option for him to actually see Mr.
I think it allowed him to relax, because we put him in with Jaffa and it was amazing. Mr. Whippy had to start popcorning in the cage with Jaffa, and they was together. Jaffa went up to him and he like just kind of like submitted to him, put his head underneath Mr. Whippy's chin, and Mr. Whippy loved that, and they were together. And then we found over the next few days that, like, because we got the cage set on the end so they could nose each other through the bars, Mr. Whippy was laying next to the bars where Jaffa Cake's cage was, and Jaffa would come up to him, so that it was like that they were bonded. And I think because he was so old and so weak, that's why there was no aggression even with the girls there. And I think Mr. Whippy was like relaxing and finally saying, right, they've got someone that I can let look after my girls.
Jaffa Orange, such a special boy to be for the group. He was just what I was looking for, because I was trying to look for one that was very submissive, and we just happened to land lucky that we managed to get one just like that, because I wanted Pudding to continue to be boss. I didn't want her to be overpowered. It would be unfair considering how long she's been in the herd. I wanted her to kind of be, you know, the queen of her castle.
Well,
so
she's the queen, but
yeah.
like, it wasn't like the sort of thing that I would be like, well, she doesn't have to be leader if she don't want to be, but I think she's kind of a reluctant leader. I think everyone just looks at her as leader. I think she's got a lieutenant with Twiggy. Twiggy's definitely her second in command, and she's like the mother hen that worries about everybody. And everybody's got their own place in the herd. Everyone's got like a different position. Kat's been using some of that in her own art recently, and you'll see that when we start talking about the art and things. But like, everyone in the herd has got their own place, and I do think it's a really nice thing that we've got going at the moment.
We've got a lot of changes to the business recently. We are adding some new lines as well, not just the fleece, you know, the general things like the pea pads, the beds, the tunnels, you know, all that kind of thing. But we're also starting to go into the art side of things as well, so that we can make some like apparel for like humans, so humans can also enjoy guinea pig stuff.
Like we have t-shirts and mugs, stickers for like laptops and things like that, and then we've got some key rings, and it's just something that we've started recently because Kitty originally started with the art, and that's how we got into the guinea pig stuff. Her main thing was she wanted to do art originally, but we just kind of got too much into the guinea pigs and their well-being and stuff like that, so we ended up with the beds and stuff like that. If you look at our social media now, we have two Instagram platforms. We have the Toffee Apple Pets, which is all about the guinea pigs and the fleece and everything like that, and then we have Toffee Apple Studio, which is her art, and she's using our art that's based on our guinea pigs and using them to create characters, and you'll see their personalities in the characters, and they're the actual personalities that we've pulled from our own guinea pigs. My
work is very much inspired by the herd and the herd prior, the OG herd. So for example, the Chonky Piggy Club collection that you might have seen, that's featuring Tea Cake as a mascot.
It's got hers in a style similar to our logo that says Chonky Piggy Club. We've got a blue and a pink one, and then she's also got a few other stickers to match it. We did a keyring with that on, and then we've done a pink and a blue t-shirt, and the t-shirts are some of the best quality t-shirts that we've ever seen. They're 100% ring spun cotton, and they feel really premium t-shirts, so I think if you bought one of them you would be really impressed with how nice they are. They're also on US sizes, so anyone in the UK that orders them, they are slightly larger than what you would order. Like, I normally get an extra large t-shirt from shops like Primark and stuff like that, but these I can easily get away with like a large. One
of the things that we'd like to do as well is we'd like to order some t-shirts for ourselves soon.
Yeah.
You know, life, things happen.
Things get in the way.
And because we were so focused on making sure that people who were reviewing them got them, so they ended up with some of our t-shirts that we were meant to have for ourselves, and you know how it is. But I'd like to reorder the t-shirts for us as well, because we love the quality and everything.
May as well wear his own brand, own brand when we're filming, so rather than having like just random t-shirts and stuff.
Yeah, and it's more in theme with the guinea pigs as well, so I quite like the idea of that.
And everybody wants to be in the Chonky Piggy Club.
I mean, we wanted to make sure that it was quality, and that we personally chose cotton to be very nice, breathable material, thing that you can wear all the time. Something
that you'd be proud to have on your skin, with the t-shirts at least, because I know there's a lot of t-shirts out there, you get them, and they're all like plastic, polyester and nylon, and they just don't feel nice on your skin.
I want something that'll last just the same, the same as my beds, the same as everything else that I make. I try and make things that's going to last. You know, I'm very much for quality.
Yeah, Yeah, we prefer, because like we want people, if they're going to spend, if you're going to spend your money, we don't want to have items that, like, if we buy it, we're going to have to get rid of it and get a new one in like a couple of months. We'd rather have that item that you can be proud and you can wear it and it's going to last you a long time.
I've been really enjoying making these side projects, because the thing about the fleece is sometimes it can get a bit stale, because you're doing the same repetitive task over and over of the same bed, you know, the same shapes and things like that. I like doing a challenge. This is the thing, and I felt like I weren't reaching my potential. I needed to do some other stuff that would actually reach that.
She's got a very strong creative mind and she needs to challenge that every so often, so having drawing again has allowed her to tickle them creative juices, mix them up a little bit.
Yeah, it's like even just making the teacup is something. It's different, and I quite like that. It fulfills you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to be doing the same item over and over if you can help it.
That's something that we probably glossed over. We didn't actually mention that. After Christmas we had a launch and she designed a teacup bed with a teacup and a saucer. Also, in as most recent, as part of the Chunky Pickle launch, we did launch a teapot to match it. Yeah,
we wanted to make sure that there was an additional item that could complement what is already, you know, available.
So we have been working quite a lot behind the scenes, even though we haven't actually been on YouTube.
This year has been a very busy year in lots of different capacities and ways. We've been working with a lot of big names and stuff
and
like that.
So, and stuff like that. So
yeah, it's just catching up really, isn't it?
And then, so just to let you all know, because like if you haven't been following us on social media, we have got 7 guinea pigs now, and our most recent arrival is Swiss Roll, and she is a Swiss teddy, around about a month now, aren't we?
Yeah, I would say about a month.
About a month, and she is the latest edition, so just catching you all up on that.
And I feel like we'll probably do this video and then we'll probably be like, oh, we forgot this, we forgot that, you know, it's just what it is.
We've probably sliced some footage of all as guinea pigs in between during this, because obviously seeing our face and hearing us talking would just be a bit boring, so we can throw a few pictures and a few videos of our other guinea pigs in.
It'd be nice to have a community here that we could all talk about things, non-judging, of course.
We do read every comment that comes through on every platform. If you want to leave us a comment, feel free to do so, because we will read that and we will respond to it. And if it's something that you have a suggestion or an idea, or just something that you do different, it may be something that we can talk about in a future video.
Everything I've done with the guinea pigs altered and evolved over time. I used to put a hair rack in. I thought it was okay. Over time I realised how lazy guinea pigs can be about pulling it out and stuff, especially if they're in pain with their jaw.
Yeah.
You know, like if they're having teeth issues.
We had a guinea pig with teeth issues.
Then I started putting it in a box, which was just a cardboard box, just for the sake of it, so that it weren't like
going
on the
everywhere,
fleece and going everywhere, which they enjoyed and they all tried to cram in. And then I thought, well, not all of them's got access to it. And then I would do a pile of hair, then it'd spread all over. And then we thought we'd do the kitchen situation, and that was really good, weren't it?
It was really good, but it just wasn't big enough. Kind of taking that kitchen idea and run with it, and instead of just having the small like 2x1 kitchen, we've actually just got a 3x2 Corex piece cage from Cavi Cages, and we've just filled that full of hair, and we just let them have that, and then it's just easy to just chuck out, to just clean up and chuck out. Put some newspaper at the bottom so we can roll it up like a nice sausage roll, so it's easy to throw away. If
you are here because you want to learn, but not in a way that like is pressuring, you're more than welcome to be here.
Yeah. We'll appreciate anyone.
We will give you advice. Whether you take it, it's your choice.
We won't like judge you, or we won't like, we're not going to yell at you, we're not going to say, oh, you're doing this wrong, you need to do this. We will explain what we think is our best advice for you. Because
I just want a kind community. I'd like a community of people that support each other in lots of different ways.
People that are kind and understanding.
Yeah, understanding, wanting to learn, teach others. You know, you might even teach us.
Everybody makes mistakes, and no doubt that we've made quite a few mistakes over years.
It's just nice just to talk about guinea pigs. Share pictures.
Share your passion, share your pictures, share your love.
There's loads of products out there as well that we can talk about as well. If there's something that you want us to review, we could potentially review it. If you want us to review some treats, or maybe like studio like themed vlogs where I'm making something behind the scenes, me drawing, us just doing a general chat like we are now on a subject. It's really up to you. Like, I don't really know what has been keeping you here as well, because considering that it's been about a year where you've not like unsubscribed, you're not seen us. We just want feedback, really.
Yeah.
We can't move forward with the YouTube channel without a bit of
feedback. We want to see what the community wants, and we want to try to feel what you want to see from us.
Or maybe you just want guinea pig content. We're happy to just film guinea pig content if that's what you'd like.
The idea that we've got going forward is we are going to try to do something similar to this, or at least a long form video like once a month to start with, just to get us into a situation so we've got not as in like overly pressuring ourselves, so we've got enough time to create the items, work on his Instagram, and make sure that his guinea pigs and his lives are sorted out.
If we do this kind of format, which I think could be really good, you can put your input into it. So if it's on a subject matter, even though we've discussed it, doesn't mean that I can't like go back over the subject again and then put your input in.
Yeah, like if there's new information that you might tell us about someone that we think we're doing correctly, and then you tell us something and it's like, oh, that's actually a better way of doing it, we will go back over that and we'll correct ourselves, because that's the only way that you learn, and everybody learns.
And sharing's really important. I really do think the idea of being able to share as a community just be really good.
Yeah.
Whether you'd like us to continue like what we used to do, whether you prefer this kind of interaction where we have a bit of chat, or whether you just prefer to see guinea pigs. If you'd rather see guinea pigs with, you know, us talking over it, or just guinea pigs enjoying food, we don't mind doing that. Being able to talk to you would probably be a better way of building that community.
Yeah, this is it. So we could take your feedback into it. So it's like a bit like a community project then.
I'm really hoping that it wasn't boring. I'm not the best on camera. I'm not somebody that enjoys looking at cameras and talking.
She actively avoids it. That's why I was always in front of the camera.
Yeah, I used to just kind of just...
You talk. Yeah, I'm hiding. I'll film.
I'm not one for talking. I don't particularly like looking at the way that I, you know, like...
You're going to love editing this.
Yeah, I'm not going to love editing. I just really want to be able to grow community, because I feel like there's a lot of good in this community, and I get to talk to some of you through Instagram, which is nice. I also think this is also a very good way of you getting to know us.
We might be able to build like community lists as well. Like, we know quite a lot of vets in our area, but outside our area we don't know any vets. So it's like something that if like someone's living in Manchester and they need to know a vet, we can't really offer that suggestions. But if we've got people in the community that can help us with that, it might be something that we can create a big list. I know Scotty does something similar on his website. I think his is mainly for the US. So we might be able to do something like that in the UK for you guys, and possibly Europe if we've got like European people that follow us and things like that as well.
I just think it'd be really nice just to make some kind of club of some kind that we could all go to and share pictures and stuff like that, and have that back and forth. Do you know what I mean? And feel like we get to really know each other. Like I said, I do recognise names. I do talk to people on a regular basis and stuff on like Instagram and Facebook. Certain people, it's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd often lead on a night just tapping away.
Yeah.
She's a lot of you guys give us such nice comments, and she has really long conversations. She feels like she's got so many people now that she can talk to about just sharing the love with guinea pigs and things. So thank you for sticking with us throughout this entire video, and especially over the last almost a year since we did his last video. We hope you didn't find this video too boring, because we know it's been a long one, but we do appreciate every one of you that's been here. So like we've been saying, any comments that you've got, anything that you want to say to us, just get that down in the comment section and just leave your message. We hope you've liked it, and if you have liked it, please consider hitting that like button, because thumbs up that really help us, and it tells YouTube that you like this kind of stuff. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.